Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Local Pundit. It is another live show. We are up and away. I noticed Josh is in Mexico, and like I did see in the comments from Aaron, he is working, and that's all well and good. I know he is working, so good on him. He's slaving away. He was in a keynote speech at the moment, so he has to deal with that. But today we have a very special episode. I have a fan from Port Vale that we're going to bring in soon. But before we get going, I am going to jump in. I do have someone who is way more knowledgeable than I am that I'm going to bring into the channel. How are you, Paddy?
Hey, guys. Good.
Great show yesterday on Champ Chat, by the way.
Thank you. I enjoyed
it.
Yeah.
Really interesting. I did watch that yesterday through in between working, and that had on in the background when I'm just doing stuff on my computer. And then I watched Josh's show this morning when I got up. So it's interesting that Josh wants to see improvement straight away, and I respect that. I get that. I want to see it too. I have some interesting take on that, but anyway. So yeah, we can get into that a little bit later, I guess. How are you? How are you feeling about the team anyway? Before we bring young Mason in.
Generally okay.
Yep.
I probably would have liked a few more new players the weekend, but I understand why he didn't. We know this is what Parky's like, and I'm just generally positive about the future team. It'll take time to get there, but considering I don't think we should be realistically aiming for playoffs, I'm not too worried. Once we come together, we should easily hit mid-table quite quickly.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's up and away. So let's see if I can. Let's see if he's back. I'll just quickly check. Hello, PVC Life. Are you there?
Hi, mate. I'm there. You're right.
Well, let's start. Okay, so let's start with an origin story. We always do this. So first off, we ask sort of where you're from, who you follow, how'd you get into football? So hit us with your name, age, where you're from, do all of that.
Well, yeah, I'm Mason, and I'm from Stoke. Massive Vale fan. Vale fan all my life, pretty much. And yeah, I'm also an Everton fan in the Premier League as well. I do follow them, but it is mainly Vale for me.
Okay, and just to let everybody know, so when you say your whole life, how old are you now, Mason?
Pretty much since I got into it from my family, pretty much.
Yeah. No, and am I right? You're 15?
Yeah.
Okay. So right from the very beginning, you're like a blossoming fan.
Yeah.
Do you go to many games?
Yeah, I go to all the home games and around 4 or 5 away games.
Yep. Excellent. Well, this is it's Paddy here too, Mason. Just so you know, Paddy might ask you some questions.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Hello.
Okay. Well, obviously, our interest definitely is the fact that Faal has gone to Port Vale. Give us your thoughts on what you think of Faal and how you think he's gone so far this season.
So far, I think he's had a tough start to the season. He's played a few games so far, a couple starts and a couple off the bench. He played his first game of the season was at Blackpool away in the Cup and scored in like the first 5 minutes on his debut, which was really good. Everyone was excited, but I don't think he's got off to a great start. I think he's been getting a lot of criticism on Twitter.
Okay. And what's that criticism been mostly, do you think? What has it been?
Pretty much just falling over the ball, really. That's his main issue.
That doesn't sound good, does it, Paddy?
No.
Well, do you think he's got a future?
Yeah, 100%. I can see it. I can definitely see it.
Okay. And has he been starting or has he been coming off the bench?
He's been off and on, really.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think he's better suited to then at the moment?
Off the bench.
Off the bench, okay.
Yeah, definitely.
And why is that? Is it because he's not quick enough or not skillful enough at the beginning, or is it because he's just a good impact player?
I think he's an impact player, if I'm being honest. I think he's good in the air, gives us a good threat in the air. And I think most of his goals this season are going to come from headers. He's already scored 2 goals so far, one in the Bristol Street Motors and one in the Carabao Cup, and they've both come from headers. So I think that'll be his main contribution.
Interestingly enough, I have got the League One table here, and I'm just popping it up now. And I see Cardiff is on top of the table with Bradford on 17 points. And very similar to Wrexham, when I go looking for Port Vale on the ladder, I have to start scrolling. And you guys are in 20th place on 5 points with just a win from your last game, and you've obviously got 2 draws early on. So, yeah, you're just sitting outside the relegation at the moment, ahead of a couple of teams we know quite well in Reading and who's in 21st, and our good old mates at Peterborough United, who I'm sure Paddy is very happy. Paddy,
I love Peterborough. Great team.
We did have a YouTuber on, Mason, called Ash from the Posh last year, multiple times. Good guy. But yeah, it's interesting that. Do you think that you guys are going to be in that relegation battle, or do you think you're going to work your way up the table through this season?
Well, I did a predictions video, and I did say we would be around that 20th, 19th. I think we'll be in a relegation battle come end of the season. You know, I've got to be realistic, really. I think the league's very strong this season.
Okay.
And I do think that we will be around that area.
Mm-hmm. As a fan, is that the hardest thing to sort of say when you know you're going to be down near the relegation zone?
Yeah, it is. Of course, we don't want to be down there, but I think when you're a team expected, because loads of people had us to go down this season, but I think it's just about taking each game as it is for a team like us. Not expecting too much from this season. I think our aim is just to stay up.
Okay, interesting. And just for everybody out there, so Mason has a YouTube channel. It's PVFC Life, and I'm going to put the link to that in the chat, just so everybody's got it. If you want to go check out his stuff and support him, because he's only 15, YouTube have changed the rules. So that's right, isn't it? You're not allowed to do lives anymore until you turn 16.
Thanks for that.
Because it used to be younger, is that right?
Yeah, it used to be 13 or over.
Yeah, I had that same problem because I'm pretty young too. The boys give me heaps about it, Mason. The boys give me heaps about it. So yeah, so I mean, look, so you're there, like you're down there in 20th. I'm having a look at. I'm also looking at your squad. Obviously, Darren Moore's your coach, English coach, but in your squad here, who are your favourite players? I mean, and who are your best players?
Well, I like to look at Devante Cole, who come on deadline day.
Yes.
He's already scored 2 goals in 2 appearances, so he looked quite good. Again, I think Payton as well, Rory Payton, another striker. I think he looks good. I think
an
they are.
Irishman, Paddy.
We get around. Search most teams, you'll probably find an Irish guy in there somewhere.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So Rory Payton and Devante Cole. And is there anyone like who runs your team? Who would you say is the general?
Probably Ben Garrity. I think he does get injured, but he's usually there starting really.
Okay. Interesting. I'll have a quick sticky beak at him now. Got him up here on the channel. So 183 centimeters, 28 years old, right footer. Came on a free transfer. So he was on loan from Oldham Athletic, and then you guys got him on a free back in 2021. So that's a good pickup. Okay. Is there much else like about your team? I guess. I mean, Paddy, have you got any questions for him about the Port Vale squad or their season?
Yeah, I was just having a quick look at the history, and in the last few seasons, you've mainly been in League One, and then missed us when we came up. You guys went down, but before that, you were League Two. Would you say traditionally and kind of at the moment you consider yourself to be a solid League One team, or are you kind of in between both?
We are. I think we are a League One team. We don't want to be in League Two again. Come next season, we just don't want to be in League Two. Our aim is to be in League One.
Mm-hmm.
And the owners want to see us as a championship ready club in a few years' time. So that's what we are aiming to do. I think this season's just about staying up, and hopefully we can build on then. But
are they able to support you financially? Are things working out to progress the team? Do you seem to be in a good position for that?
yeah, I think we do seem to be in a good position for that. So I think each year we just got to build and build. I think getting Colin is the new striker is good. We do need a striker, but I do think it's looking good so far. Just need to stay up, really.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Mason, is he good enough for the championship? Can we steal him?
He's 30, I think, isn't he? Is that right? Is he a little bit older? I think he's 30. Is that right? Or am I mixing that up?
Yeah, you're right. He is. He's 30 years old.
A little bit older, yeah.
Yep. 185 centimetres. Yeah, so there we go. 30 years old, right-footed. Came from West Brom on a free transfer, literally. Yeah, okay, so he's actually come down from the Championship to League One. Interesting.
Yeah, might be just slightly off the pace, getting a little bit older. Kind of like what Parky does, bringing in an experienced head who's still good. So he might be solid for League One for them for the next season or two.
And here is our number one supporter, Mason. It's Steve Barton. He's done a $5 super chat, telling me that I'm 137 years old when I lost to Rocky. He was 67. That's harsh, Steve, but I can take it on the chin. So we get this all the time, Mason. We get people coming in and we have thick skin here. So I'm looking at your team, and so I mean it's a team, and Paddy talks about your history there. Obviously, you've come down. No, yeah, sorry, you've come, so second League Two, you come up to League One. It's tough. You did the bounce, didn't you, there for the last couple of years?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're sort of thinking, obviously, the goal is to be a solid League One team. How soon do you think you guys would be ready to make a push for the championship? Do you think?
Honestly, I would say 3-4 years time, maybe. I think that'd be fair enough.
Yep. Well, according to Steve Barton, I could be dead by then, so I mightn't see that with my age. But
no, but in fairness, if you haven't got like big money to do a major advancement, that sounds like a realistic time to do it. Because if you're looking at fighting relegation this season, then you're kind of lower mid-table, upper mid-table, and then fighting for playoffs and promotion. So, just slow, natural progression. It could certainly be done at that level.
Yeah, I agree.
So, would you say who are your main rivals? Who would you say are the big derbies, the ones that each team love to hate? That they have the big matches against each other. Who's that team for you?
Stoke.
No hesitation whatsoever.
Biggest rivals, honestly.
And you live in Stoke?
Yeah, Vale. Vale isn't actually in a place; it is just in Stoke.
Yep. Okay. So when you're moving around the streets and that, do you see a lot of people with supporters from both teams?
All the time, yeah.
Okay, so a bit of banter around town?
Yeah.
At school, maybe?
Oh, all the time, yeah.
And do you play yourself?
Yeah, I do actually.
Do you think you might be a future Port Vale player one day?
Maybe. We'll have to wait and see.
Good on.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And okay, so and then so which other you said you follow? Who'd you say you followed again in the Premier League?
Everton.
Everton. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, no, that's okay. That's okay. So would you say that you are obviously primarily a Port Vale fan, but Everton's your other team?
Yeah, I've been Vale fan all my life. But yeah, Everton's pretty much my second team. Follow them a lot.
Well, Hip Karma's got a question here for you, Mason. What position do you play?
Centre back.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Are you tall?
Ish. Strong.
would you be? I mean, look, there's big debate on our channel at the moment about our centre back position. Do you think you're good enough for the championship this weekend? Could you put on a kit against Norwich for us?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You'd be straight in, you reckon?
Oh yeah.
I love the positivity. I love the positivity. Yep. And Steve Barton's into me again, telling me that I'm an old geriatric. I can take it, Steve. You keep coming. Another $5 super chat. I think, yeah, okay. So you play centre back. So would you say you're good at distributing the ball then?
Yeah, one of my main attributes is passing, actually.
Okay. And what about organising the defence around you? Do you feel like you're a good communicator?
Not really. I actually don't talk that much.
Okay.
On the pitch.
Well, that's exciting. I'm sort of a little bit as you get older, Mason. You do get jealous of the young kids that have got these opportunities in front of them. So I'm very excited for you. We're definitely going to have to check back in on you from time to time to see A, how your team's going, B, how your football game's going yourself. Do you feel like this year that you're going to start to see Port Vale climb the ladder in the next month or two?
Yeah, that's the aim.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to see, won't we? But it'll be interesting.
Have you had a tough start in that you've had stronger teams so far, or do you think it's fairly balanced with the teams you've played? Do you understand what I mean? Have you had easier opponents so far, or the more difficult opponents for the first half?
Oh, you there, Mason? Oh, we've lost your audio. Oh, have you gone silent? Have you turned the volume down?
Something happened.
Something's happened. We've lost Mason there for a second.
Heard the noise, maybe like a mic.
I can hear a very faint noise, like something's going. I'm going to pop you out and pop you back in, Mason. Just give me a second. Oh, no, and now he's gone. He might be back. Yeah, that's exactly what's happened. Josh is hitting buttons from Mexico, Paddy. I'm having a look here. I'm just looking at their fixtures. So their next game is against our old friends Mansfield.
Okay.
But then they're playing in the Carabao Cup. They're at home to Arsenal.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
What an amazing game that will be. I'm just going to quickly send him a message. I have set up a private chat with him in the Discord. So
okay, so
I'm just sending him a message now. So there we go. We'll see if he can. We'll see if he can get him back. So yeah, there you go, Karma. He's on a bus to Wrexham for our academy as we speak. Well, let's hope so. Look, good young kid.
Okay. I'll call out the names of the teams they played here if you want. I have them in front of me. I was just looking.
Yeah,
go. So they started with Rotherham, then they had Cardiff, Blackpool, Burton, Stevenage, Doncaster, Reading, and then the last ones, Leyton Orient and Exeter.
Yes.
Okay, a little bit of a mix there, but yeah, probably decent mix. So they'd want to pick up a little bit on some of those results.
Yes, yeah. We'll see. They lost 1-0 to Reading. Interesting. They beat Birmingham 1-0 in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
We need John Merrill in here. That's what we need. We need John and Mason, so Mason could throw some shade on John. That would make my day. That would absolutely make my day.
They have been losing by basically just one goal for most of the matches.
They've all been close, yes.
They've all been really close. So 2-1, a draw, 1-0 win, another draw, 2-1 loss, 1-0 loss, 1-0 loss. That's my cat. Sorry, guys. 3-2 loss, and then a 2-0 win. So they've all been pretty close. If they can kind of just tighten up that little bit, they'll start taking more points.
Yep, absolutely. Like, they're right there, aren't they? They're right there, just very close matches. So it's not like they've been getting flogged. And interesting, in the EFL Trophy, they played Leeds United Academy, and obviously were well too strong for them. 4-1, karma. And we have zero idea what 1-0 matches are like in League One. Not absolutely true, hip karma. Yeah, I mean, to go down 3-2 to Leyton Orient, but then they've had a good 2-0 win over Exeter, so that's pretty solid. They're right there. Look, it doesn't take much to turn that around.
Yeah, I was gonna ask him about their formation. The last match they seem to have played a 3-5-2. Now, I would like to know, is that their main formation? Like us, do they kind of stick with it a lot? And maybe that's why they got Mo Faal from us, because Parky would obviously like a team that's playing the same formation that we generally do as well.
Yes.
I would hope that Faal can push his way into the team throughout this first half of the season. You know, you would really want Faal to be starting in the first 11 of a League One team. He needs to for us, in order to try and get back to us. He needs to be solidly League One.
So my opinion is we'll never see him again, Paddy. But what's your thoughts on that?
Probably. That's the most likely scenario, especially the way we're upgrading players and looking to be top end of Championship. But who knows? He's still young. He has a bit of time to grow, but he needs to show something this year, or I would expect us to probably try and find him a home.
Well, it's interesting that Mason has said straight up that he doesn't see him as a starter. He only sees him as an impact player because, he's had the chance now to see him in that League One opportunity, which we didn't even give him, really. He didn't get that opportunity. When I say we didn't give it to him, he hadn't earned it. We had better players.
Yeah.
So I guess the fact that now he's in a team where he has that opportunity and the fans are saying he's not good enough, he's an impact player. I could see Stephen Fletcher rubbing off on him when he was with us. You could see that, the way he played, which was great. But you would hope that he would have been good enough to bring that sort of form to the starting lineup.
Yeah, well, when you're a young player like he is, you have to show within the 20 minutes or whatever you're getting that you're strong and good enough. And it can be tough. We know it can be tough. If the player you're trying to replace is good, you just might not get the opportunity. unfortunately. But he needs to show at least that. He needs to push his way in, get more time, and see where they go from there. Because the problem is, if they're at the bottom end of the table this season, it's also not going to give him opportunity to really show much, because they're going to be defending a lot, and you need the full team in order to really show off. So it's a tough ask, but he really needs to step up. Can he do it? Will the opportunity be there? Who knows? I hope so, because otherwise he could be looking at a League Two team as his permanent team,
And
or again another lower League One team who'll take a chance on him as their starter or whatever for cheap fee just to move him on.
And his salary will drop.
Oh, of course, yeah. We in that scenario, we'd have to make some deal to pay him whatever we pay him. And
I don't know how long his contract is.
He's got a long contract. I think it's 27.
Oh my god!
Yeah, because we bought him in young, so he had the time. I'm assuming his contract is not going to be very expensive for us. No. I assume we got a good deal, when he was coming in League One and stuff like that. So it wouldn't be a big deal for us to keep loaning him. You know what I mean? There's still a bit of time there.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks very much, Steve. Yeah, I've got something right there. It's really annoying me. But anyway, Ken's saying for Ken to buy some toothpicks. Yeah, I've got something right there in my tooth and it's giving me the heebie-jeebies. But anyway, yeah. Okay, so I also wonder, when you're in a squad, and there's such variance in people's wages, like a young guy that's on nowhere near as much money as, let's say Kiefer Moore, then, how do they handle that mentally, thinking, well, that player's so much better than me. They think he's so much better than me because they pay him so much more. I mean, it's interesting, the mindset of a young player, and I'll use Harry Ashfield and Mo Faal as the two examples there. Do you grasp the opportunity with both hands and say, I've got to prove my worth and show what I'm worth and play better? Or does it actually compound on you and actually force and actually bring down your performance?
Yeah, it could. I would say that's one of the factors that cause young players to not achieve anything in their career. Because if you get into a bigger academy, let's just use an example of AO. He got into Arsenal. He was with them. He couldn't break into their team, and he got a late loan coming into Wrexham, and then did the deal with us. Now, he could have sat there. He could have tried to take his money and kept trying to break in, but he needed to move to a team and he needed to show how good he was. Now, by all rumors, it was said that he was on about 18,000 a week with Arsenal, even as a young academy player, and that he came to us in League One on roughly 10 a week. So,
big drop.
If that's true, that those numbers worked out that way, it is a big drop, but it's something you need to get your head around. That once you leave a Premier Academy, if you don't make it into a top-end championship team or, any of the weaker Prem teams, you're not going to be on the same money. You're on decent money because you're a Prem Academy, but you're not going to get that elsewhere. And AO seemed okay with that. So it's the same sort of thing, I guess, with Academy just coming up through the team and getting the opportunity for Ashfield. There can be a scenario when you're young that you come in and you're fighting against a senior player who is on at least double your pay, maybe even more. And you're getting close to how good they are because they're coming down on their top end experience and you're going up, but your wages can be vastly different. And you just have to push to earn the wages as you go. You have to understand you're on the upswing, others are on the downswing. They've already earned the big money, and their experience is getting them the money. You have to just live with it. But of course, if things get too out of balance with the team, you can see dressing room issues at times for that. I'm sure it has impacted different teams. But that's what your agent is for, and that's what you go and ask them for to improve your contract. And regularly they'll do it. If you're on too little money, when you show that you're worth, almost as much as one of the senior players, then you go in and ask for more. You won't get their money, but they will likely give you the improvement because they're getting more from you.
Yeah, and Wayne Evans has said here, when you're younger, you don't know how good you are until you're playing with and against the best. Just need opportunities. So, yeah, if you take the money side out of it, and I think this is more to Wayne's point here, is the fact that, you're just on the pitch and it's man v man on the training pitch, on the playing pitch, and, you just have to prove that you are as good or a better player. And if you do that, well, then the opportunities come and the money is a flow-on effect of that.
Yeah.
So it's about that mindset.
It is about that mindset. And it's one of these things of, if you're in a top academy, how willing are you to go to League Two, go to League One, to spend your time on loan? Because that is the normal trajectory of academy players. You're likely not going to break into the main team, and you have to go out there and show what you're worth, and you have to go on these loans and just be a journeyman player, happy moving from team to team for a couple of years until you absolutely show your worth.
Yep.
Like Kabore, now he's exceptionally different. Normally you would be sold off at this point because he's a bit older. So he's not like an academy guy anymore, but he's not stayed with the team, his home team. He's been on loan after loan after loan, but they still feel he's worth keeping. Yep. And they haven't sold him on yet. So if he does really well for us, will this be the final season he's on loan? And will we be buying him for 15 million next year?
Yeah, that's true.
That's very true. Well be. If he has an amazing season this year with us, we could very well be having to offer over 10 million.
Well, Hip Karma's right with you there, and yet he's not been sold. He's not been sold off, and that's probably exactly.
So they have belief in him. They have belief that he can do more and increase his worth, because ultimately that's all he is to them. Most likely, is they're willing to pay his wage on the expectation that he will be worth more by the end of the year.
Absolutely. Now, for those of you that haven't watched it, Josh did a show earlier today, and this is the fandom of it. So Josh is frustrated. He wants results now, and he mentioned that the Thomason and Windass are back, like they're ready to go. That's been announced. So that'll be interesting to see if they're on the pitch this weekend starting, if they're on the bench. It'll be interesting to see what they do. How's your general feeling, Paddy, about – I've got some interesting thoughts here, but what's your general feeling about the team and where they're at right now and where they're going to finish? I mean, what are your thoughts?
I'm quite positive about the number of players we brought in, the strength of the players. I'm kind of realistic about that. I did not believe we would bring in 13. So we are pushing. We're pushing to have a bit more depth than I expected for the first season. So I initially had a kind of a higher expectation that we would push this season, but I didn't expect them to push this much. So I never really had to change my expectation. I think we will be somewhere just outside the playoffs this first season.
By the end of the season?
By the end of the season, yeah.
Yep.
I don't mind taking time to build up with this. I kind of expected it. Now, you can say that maybe we should have got our business done earlier. That's always a preference, is to get the business done earlier. But again, if you want to be realistic about it, we are a new championship club. And when you are the newly promoted club, you're going to have to work to convince some players to trust you. Because the idea of ending up at the bottom of the table and, God forbid, a relegation battle to go back down is always on the mind of players. So it's going to be that little bit harder in your first season to convince people that you're the real deal. Now, I know we've a lot going for us. I know over the last couple of seasons, we have shown we have the money, we're shown we have the expectations, and that we're really pushing for the Prem at some point. But this year we're in the new boy spot, and we need to come upper mid-table and prove that we're solid. And next season there'll be less worry about the team when they're joining it.
Yep. Bruce, I can promise you he is real. He is more real than Bigfoot. That's all I'm going to say. But okay, so on that, like, you know, my thing here is, you know, I think we're going to finish mid-table somewhere. You know, originally in our predictions at the beginning of the year, I had 7th, and that was hopeful. That we finished 7th. I didn't think we'd make the playoffs, and that's why I said just outside the playoffs. Then they're looking at changing the playoff rules, so maybe I should have said 9th. But anyway,
well, that's for next season.
Yeah. But anyway, I guess the interesting thing for me around this is everybody says, you know, you've got to give it time, and this is Parky's way and what Parky does, and this, that, and the other in terms of, you know, he doesn't bring in sometimes he doesn't bring in players straight away. I just, you know, and they're saying you've got to give the players time to gel. You know, people in the comments say they've got to give players time to gel. They've got to do this. Well, look, my thing is I'm patient. I can wait for the team to improve and move up the ladder. My issue is that, like it was and still is with Harry Ashfield last year, if you don't bring players in and get them all playing together as soon as possible, that gel time is only going to take longer.
Yes. Yeah. I said it on the Champ Chat this week, rip the Band-Aid off. That we have not had an amazing start with our League One team, essentially, our League One squad that came up. Therefore, you don't need to stick with those players and give them the shot. You can easily argue last season that when we started the season, we were waiting on players coming in. The League Two squad were very comfortable. They got very good results early, and therefore you could slow roll the new players into the team. There was no need to bring them in. Now we've not had the great start. We haven't looked fantastic. So I'm more of the case, okay, rip the Band-Aid off. Anybody that does not look good enough, swap them out, and then you get the team to gel as fast as possible. Because otherwise you have a position gelling. Then you change something. Then you have another position gelling. Then you change something else and you got another position. And you're constantly changing. You're never getting into the full rhythm. So yeah, I would say put them in and then play from there. And you always have the defense. If you still get bad results, you come out afterwards, you talk to the reporters and you say, look, we didn't get the result today. We're still getting the team together. They need time. They need time to know where everybody is, to put the passes out there in the right position for the right players at the right time. It's going to take time, guys. End of. Sorry about the results, but we'll get there.
Yep. So Tess is pushing back on me a little bit here. This season, who hasn't he brought in pretty quickly? We knew with Haim and Kabore that they just came in within 48 hours of Saturday. Okay, Tess. So I'll tell you, then Sheaf should have started straight away. Now, if the news about Kabore running late to the game and this, that, and the other, I wouldn't have even put him on the bench as manager. And I'm totally on board with that, you know, and I'm totally on board with him not playing if he does that. You know, you can't be, if that's true, you know, and that seems to be what's going around. So, you know, I'm totally fine with that. But if that didn't happen, then Kabore should start. But, you know, he didn't. And then Thomason's been injured. So the other players have had their opportunity, but he's still mixing around. But like you said, Paddy, if you bring on these guys straight away now, and like you said, they don't perform, it's very easy to say the players are still gelling. Also, the only way these guys get used to playing with each other is match minutes.
Yeah.
Minutes on the pitch. The training is all well and good, but like they say in boxing, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Now, it is a fair point from Tess, though. He has
it is.
He has put people in reasonably quick this year. It's a lot of injuries are kind of causing him some problems.
Yep.
Because we have Thomason, who doesn't exist at the moment until we see him. So he may have played already if he was fit. Kakache did play. He played one match, so he was put in early, but now is injured and not available. So anybody he didn't play this week is brand new to the team. There are late signings. So yeah, that's a fair and valid point.
Yep.
But my point on rip the Band-Aid off is pretty much do it now. You know what I mean? Don't delay it anymore. If the players are available, put them in.
Bruce is saying again, he's pushing Tessa's point. Well, Sheaf could have been brought in on the weekend, Bruce. Tell me why he couldn't have. You tell me why Sheaf couldn't have started on the weekend. There's no reason why he couldn't have. And I mean, this guy, Premier League player. And again, Josh made a point this morning. It was interesting. And he sort of had a slightly different slant on it to me. He said, look, if Sheaf starts, and you bring Matt, and he only lasts 65 minutes, and you bring Matty James on, is Matty James too slow? Well, I think the point I would have said then, which is just slightly different to Josh, is coming on at the 65th minute, Matty James's opposition players are slower. Yeah, they're a bit more tired. So therefore,
and he's got full gas tank late in the match.
He's got full gas in the tank. It's like bringing on a player like Rathbone or Dobbo later in a match, and those guys are like jackrabbits, and they just seem to be everywhere. Or Andy Cannon, a player like that. I'm not saying we're doing that with any of these guys. I'm just using those quick guys as an example. Look, Bruce, it's my point. I can have my opinion. It's as simple as that. So he's like, that's right. And I'm saying 60 minutes. I'm not saying playing for the whole match. I'm saying get the guy on and playing minutes and get everybody used to playing with him. That's my point.
I would also say as well, professional footballers, for me, the assumption is that they are fit and healthy and have been looking after themselves before I assume they're not ready to play. That would be the way I would go on it. Now, if somebody hasn't been training and has had injuries or something, okay, it's a more valid point. Yes, that's fine. But I would never assume that they're not ready just because they haven't played with us yet and have only just joined. They do training in the summer. They're with their other teams.
Yeah, and look, and Bruce, I'll take your side of the argument. If Chief wasn't fit and wasn't ready to start, then I totally understand why he didn't start. But to Paddy's point, it's players. Assuming players are fit, if he's been on the training pitch, then that's totally fine. But then we get across to Tessa's point here, Paddy. Isn't it sad that the main thing that for me will determine whether we do well on Saturday is if McLean is starting or not? And we extended him. Now, Josh went 6, as Josh, I'll use a Joshism here. Josh went 6 to midnight on Macca. And I back you, Josh, 100% on those comments. Like, he made everybody else look bad, and people are ripping into Cody and that whole side. And I think Aaron said it in Josh's chat, 51% of QPR's attack came down McLean's side.
Yeah.
So that's, that means less than 50% came through the middle and the other side in total.
If you can only have one fast player out of 2, do you want them playing in Macca's position or do you want them playing in Cody's position?
Yeah, Macca's.
It's got to be Macca's. That's for our style of play. We need our wing backs. That's the key to the way we play at the moment. Now, we're hoping to play more through the centre as we develop throughout the season. We now have players, we believe we can do it. But as it stands, our standard formation and the way we play through our wing backs. And if you go down through the wing backs, for everybody except Parky, apparently, he would be on the lower end of who you would play.
Yeah.
I would play Longman on the left before I would play him at the moment.
100%. I play Longman on the left because if Kakache's injured, you play Longman on the left and you play Barney on the right.
Yeah.
Or Kabore,
Yeah, and then you have the Kabore question. Yeah, exactly where Parky sees him.
That's right. Interestingly enough, this guy's just jumped in now. Also depends on medical teams. Sometimes the amount of minutes can be taken out of the manager's hands. Yeah, well, good evening, John. You've come in late. You need to go back to the start. We had young Mason on from Port Vale Football Club who was just talking about Mo Faal and who absolutely smashed Birmingham 1-0 in the Carabao Cup. So, I mean, yeah, you guys are on sack watch. That's all I'm saying. And feel free to jump in and have your say if you want, John. You know how to get in here. So, yeah. Tess, I found it encouraging that Macca was taken off on Saturday. I don't know whether I get your point. I probably wouldn't have phrased it exactly the same way. I would have said it was about bloody time he was replaced. And I've said I like Macca in the style of player that he is, but not good enough.
Yeah, we normally replace our wing backs anyway, at least one of them. So that's pretty standard.
Paddy, I would have been interested in the Monday mornings in football clubs of all codes. Monday is watching the tapes. You go back and you watch the replays of the match. So you're trying to break it down and see what went well, and in this case, what went badly. Yeah. Now, it would have been embarrassing to sit and watch that tape.
Yeah.
For Matt. I got beaten here, I got beaten there, I got beaten there. And then, people are going, oh, Cody did this and Cody was too slow that. Tell you what, you're sitting in that room watching that tape replay, you will see Macca get beaten, Cody getting pulled out of position to cover for it. And then Cody. Then Cody gets blamed for it.
Yeah.
That's just not the case. So, people need to understand that and go back and watch that before you go laying in on Cody because he's been good.
Yeah, he's generally been good, and I'm of the same opinion. Give him stronger players around him, and I think Cody will be fine. Because when you're solid around you, you don't need to be as quick. We know that. We've never had very, very quick defenders.
O'Connell's not quick.
Yeah, O'Connell's not quick. Scar's not particularly quick.
No,
nope. So it's not that it's an absolute. Quick. Yeah.
So there wasn't anyone on that side to defend. I'm not too sure what you mean by that. Do you mean from the opposition, or do you mean our players? Tomel, I'm just curious on that because I know their attackers were running straight around us and causing all sorts of mayhem.
You can see by the way Macca is positioning himself when he is with the players at the moment. When he's not comfortable, he's an extra foot away from them, and that's too much. He's not close enough because he knows if he comes any closer, they're going to get around him with their speed. He's needing that extra pace so that when they move, he can try and move with them. But all that means is he can then keep up with them, but he probably still can't block them. And then that doesn't mean anything because you see how Barney does it. Barney uses his speed to get past players, and the player might be just on his shoulder, but it's a half pace enough that he can get the ball in.
Yeah.
But with Macca, you can see a much bigger gap.
Tom Paddy's just answered your question there. Barnett was the guy. Barnett was the guy. So Longman on the other side, Barnett on that side.
Yeah.
Wing back issue for the first 70 minutes solved. Now, because of injuries, from 70 minutes to 90 minutes, we might have been exposed at that part of the game. But in that game on the weekend, we were already beaten at the 70-minute mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that would have been better. Now, isn't it great to be Monday's expert? So,
yeah.
So we can also say that too, because it's not, that it's easy to sit here in a chair and go, we should have done this, we should have done that. But that's what part of being a fan is. You have your opinion, you have, your thoughts around what you should do as a team and what the structure should be. And we're not going to change our formation anytime soon, I don't think. No. So we've got to get better at what we do.
Yeah. Tessa's question there, follow up on Sheaf, is quite interesting.
Sorry,
you just switched it off. I know, no problem.
There you go.
Okay, so tactically, will Sheaf be helping cover for Maka? I don't know how much faster he is than Matty James. So this brings up two kind of points for me here. Yes, he'll be partially covering for Maka the same way James does a little bit as well. But the issue is there are levels of experience here as well. So I would expect Sheaf to have better quality than we're getting out of James. James, you can see he has had the quality before, but he's a little bit slow. Now, will Sheaf be fast by championship standards? No. Do I expect him to be faster than James? Yes. And this is the thing as well. There are some of the new players, they would never have been described as being fast, but they are quicker than what we had. You know, they look faster in our team than the players we had before, but they're not necessarily on the upper end of speed for championship teams.
And if you, to Tessa's question, hopefully Sheep isn't covering for Maka. Hopefully Maka's not on the pitch.
Yeah, of course, but
yeah. Yep. And Tess, I'm about to ban you from the show if you start saying John Merrill's 100% correct one more time. You're gone. There's no way. No one is allowed to say John is always right. There's just no way.
Yeah.
I just won't stand for it.
It's kind of like Kiefer Moore a little bit with his speed. Nobody was saying, oh, he's amazingly fast and he's quick and all of this, because they're comparing him to other strikers who are a little bit younger than him. But look at the speed he looks to have in our team. He is surprisingly quick when compared to what we're used to in our team. So he's fast, but not as fast as others.
John Merrill's in with Tess. And Tess, I will say, I agree with John's comment, but I'm never, ever going to say he's 100% right.
And never. Bruce's comment here, I've never heard supporters of his previous club say he's slow. So I assume he's faster than Matty James.
Well, let's find out, people. Let's find out.
Yeah, we have to wait and see, of course. But when you're upgrading, going up to a new division, and you're bringing in better players, you expect them to be faster. How much faster? We'll wait and see. But yes, you would expect it to be an upgrade in their speed and quickness and energy levels.
Yep. Here's a question for you, Paddy. Okay, so for Bruce's question here, as far as the cover question, more covering for Barney if Kabore is not available on the right. What do you think about Max playing wingback?
Oh God, I would hope not.
Hey?
I would hope not. No.
No, okay, fair enough. I'm saying as cover. Like let's say you bring Hyam in and play him in Max's position, which is what I think should have already been done. I mean, the guy played 50 straight matches in the Prem. You know, he should already be there. Anybody that thinks differently, I'm sorry, I can have a really strong argument as to why you're wrong. You know, and I'm not against Max. I'm just saying this guy's better. You know, so then Max can cover that position, and he could possibly cover a wingback position.
Yeah, the wingbacks are causing me a little bit of a headache now that we have Maka in there, because I thought we had plenty of cover. I was expecting us not to have Kabore on the right hand side. I thought that was kind of the only position that wasn't going to get upgraded this summer. That one and Max's actually were the two I thought weren't going to have a new player in them. But at the moment, like, we don't have Kakachi on the left. So we need cover for that, which obviously is Maka, but then you have Longman. If we lose out on Longman, we've no cover on the right, and it's only Barney. But now we have the Kabore as well. Very quickly, we're going to be really tight on balancing the left and the right if we get a couple of more injuries. We need Kakachi to come back and to stay fit and healthy to kind of resolve these issues. Because Kakachi was played, it's pretty clear he's going to be the number one. Over Maka on that left side. We need him to come back and we need him to keep playing. And then we have Kabore for the right side. Hopefully he's as good as we expect. And then it's sorted. And our backups are Barney and Longman. So we're comfortable with them as backups. Then things will be settled and nice, but we need to keep everybody fit and healthy. After that, we're starting to bring in Maka, and we're moving Longman between sides to give cover. And maybe even then, if Longman's the one that goes down, maybe Kabora is going to have to switch to the left in order to allow Barney on the right. And maybe that's fine.
Yeah, and Tess is asking whether Longman can play as well on the left. Yeah, he can play great on the left. We've seen it already. We've seen him play. Interesting, John Merrill, Sam Parkin on the Ben Bloom show said that AO is an issue for your defence. AO's still got to get improvement in him. I'm not going to argue on that. But AO's pretty good. But he's still got to improve. He's got to get better on his distribution. And with his kicking, he's got to get better. But his defence and his football brain, and I'm not going to be too harsh here, he made one slight error on the weekend where he hesitated whether to come out or stay back. And he got exposed straight away. And it's about making those split-second decisions is the key to sometimes stopping a goal or conceding a goal.
Yeah, out of kind of all the skills of a keeper, the one that's an absolute must for me is your shot stopping. And that he has. That's his strong suit. So after that, the defensive difficulties that he has as a goalkeeper, most of that can be tidied up by the actual defense. If we have a solid defense, it's going to stop a lot of those issues that puts AO in danger and makes him uncomfortable in those scenarios. So you need both. You need a good keeper, obviously, and you need a good defense. So we give AO a solid defense. He's going to do the main job, which is the shot stopping. We know he can do that.
Yeah.
So teamwork makes the dream work. But it is fair that if our defense is leaky or if it doesn't come together, that will cause us a problem because it's going to lead to some situations where AO can't save us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, I think we've probably covered off today, haven't we, Paddy? It's been a good day. We've got footy tips coming tomorrow. So I'm going to get all the tips in our Discord, in our private chat to the boys. They've got to come back with their tips or I don't know what you're doing tomorrow, Paddy, if you want to come on it all tomorrow. I'm not too sure. It'll probably be, what time is it for you now? It's pretty late for you now, isn't it? Midnight, yeah. And it'll be sort of this time tomorrow, the footy tip show, I think. So, or maybe
I might be able to make it, yeah.
Or maybe even an hour later, to be honest. I just got to check with what's going on with my stuff in the morning.
We'll see.
I'll let you know. But either way, I'm going to put all the games in our private chat for the boys to put in their tips. Just quickly on that, let's just have a look. I do have them hiding here somewhere. Here they are. Let's go and share that. Let's get rid of this. Just so you know I'll just give a quick update for you guys from last week's game. So here we are, footy tip numbers. Here we go. So last week we had round 5. Everybody started from scratch, Paddy. And Paddy, what have you done?
I have to give you a little bit of a lead. It's unfair if I don't.
I actually didn't know this when I was going to bring it up, so it wasn't planned, guys. But what I do know is that Paddy did win last year, and Paddy did give us a lead last year at the beginning too. So maybe this is just Paddy is a true Wrexham fan. He starts slow and finishes strong.
Yeah. So at the moment, I'm just flipping coins.
And I remember, and if I think back correctly, Paddy, I'm pretty confident Aaron and I started strong last year as well. So yeah,
Victor did well.
Victor did do well. He got 6, and Harry all over got 5. So John is tied with AI. That's all I'm going to say there. John's tied with AI, and Paddy is probably going to. Yeah. And I think there could be maybe I reckon come Christmas, Paddy, we might start some side bets between individuals about who's going to beat who. So anyway, that's going to be up tomorrow, guys. The footy tip show. Just a quick little preview there. Paddy, I guess. Well, if you haven't gone back and watched Josh's show from earlier today, go back and watch that. If you haven't watched Champ Chat yesterday with Paddy, Aaron, and John, that was an absolute cracker. That was a great show yesterday, Paddy.
Yeah, lots of information for next year. Lots of stories came out last week in Championship.
So upcoming, we have pundits show tomorrow for footy tips. We have tactical fortitude, and then we get into the weekend and the weekend's games. I noticed the early game this weekend is Middlesbrough v West Brom. That's the first game of the weekend. That'll be a good game.
Yeah.
And then we get into a whole heap of others. But other than that, guys, Mace, if you didn't see the beginning of this show, get back to the start. We had young Mason in. Unfortunately, he just dropped out. Paddy, between Paddy's brain and his mouth and the decision-making process, maybe that all just comes together at the midpoint of the season. Who knows? So we had young Mason on from PVFC Life. He's a young guy, 15, got his own channel. I'll throw the link up there in the chat for you guys. Click on that link if you want to go and check out his channel. Support a young kid, 15, following his team. Let's get on his channel. Watch a couple of his shows. Give him a couple of likes. Help him out. It was great to have him on. Paddy, last words from you for today?
You always do this, and I have zero thoughts whatsoever. No, just let's do it the weekend. New players. Let's get it.
Let's get a good result. Well, I just want to see a good performance.
Good match. Yeah.
Terrible thing for me to say. I won't be surprised if we lose, but I want to see a good performance.
Yeah. I don't want a lot of bad results in the next 4. I just don't want this hassle with Parky and all these stupid stories that are not real. They're starting a bit early now, trying to get rid of Parky.
And we had super chats today. We had 5. We had 3 $5 super chats, and then they were all banging at me. I'm 137 years old. He knows he loves my geriatric ass and can to buy some toothpicks. I got something stuck to him until I got to go fix that now. So, guys, anyway, thanks for coming in. Go back, watch the shows. Enjoy on that bombshell. We will see you all again soon.
Take care, everyone.